Oh, yeah. Whether you're talking about shoplifting, again, Gavin Newsom, or sports betting, cheating, or 100 other things, if the incentives outweigh the disincentives and the likelihood of being hit with the disincentives, you'll get more of that behavior.
Yeah, the one that was revealed today is an NBA player faking an injury to leave a game early. That'd be pretty hard cheating to catch. I mean,
effortless to do.
Yeah, obviously. I can fake
What
a
are you
hurt
going to
leg.
tell me my knee doesn't hurt?
Yeah.
It does.
If you miss a segment or an hour, get the podcast, Armstrong and Getty, on demand. You should subscribe.
Armstrong and Getty.
It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and LifeLock is here with tips to help protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication on your accounts, report phishing, and update your software on all your devices. And for comprehensive identity protection, LifeLock is your best choice. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal information, but also fixes identity theft, guaranteed, or your money back. So stay smart, stay safe, and stay protected with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK. Terms do apply.
Quiet down, here she comes. Surprise! Your accountant just emailed to say your quarterly taxes are way higher than you were expecting.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Also, your favorite employee is leaving. They're going to pursue their dream of being a veterinarian.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not.
Since 1945, Newsradio KONP has been your source for news and community. We are Newsradio KONP Port Angeles Squim.
From ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. Another pardon from President Trump, this one for crypto titan Changpeng Zhao, known as CZ, who pled guilty during the Biden administration for allegedly not doing enough to keep criminals off of his Binance platform. He's a supporter of the Trump family's crypto venture, but White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said,
I would respond and say the president is exercising his constitutional authority to grant clemency requests. And the president and the White House have a very thorough examination of every pardon request that comes to the president's desk.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the U.S. feels positive about the ceasefire in the Middle East during his meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
We feel confident and positive about the progress that's being made. We're clear-eyed about the challenges, too.
Vice President J.D. Vance left Israel and says he took it as an insult when the Israeli parliament voted to annex the West Bank. He said that will not happen. President Trump said he's changed his mind about sending troops to San Francisco this weekend after a conversation with the mayor. ABC's Zach Fuentes is in the Bay Area.
San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie said he had a conversation with President Trump, said he would like FBI help, DEA, ATF, with help with our fentanyl challenges that we're having here in the Bay Area and in San Francisco in particular. But crime rates in San Francisco are at historic lows right now. And Mayor Daniel Lurie said that he communicated that to the president, and that is what led to the president saying that we're not going to have those National Guard troops in San Francisco anymore.
The Portland Trailblazers say they are fully cooperating with the investigation into head coach Chauncey Billups and that he has been placed on leave. The Basketball Hall of Famer is one of more than 30 people arrested in a federal crackdown on an alleged illegal gambling ring. Miami Heat player Terry Rozier was also arrested. The Senate failed to advance a bill that would have paid some federal workers during the ongoing government shutdown. You're listening to ABC News.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
New weekly data from Freddie Mac shows that mortgage rates have fallen to their lowest level in over a year. ABC's Chuck Sievertson has the details.
Lower mortgage rates lifting affordability and sales of existing homes, says the National Association of Realtors, up by 1.5% from a month ago. The 30-year fixed-rate mortgage averages 6.19%, down from last week's 6.27%. A year ago at this time, the 30-year rate was 6.54%.
The contentious race for mayor of New York City took another twist today as Mayor Eric Adams endorsed Andrew Cuomo, the state's former governor, who's running as an independent. Zoran Mamdani beat both Cuomo and Adams in the Democratic primary and tied both men to President Trump.
This is the art of the deal. We have a president of this country who has spoken publicly of his desire for Eric Adams to drop out of the race. Eric Adams dropped out. Spoken of his desire for candidates to consolidate behind Andrew Cuomo. Today, Eric Adams is endorsing Andrew Cuomo.
But some Republicans have called on their candidate, Curtis Sliwa, to drop out. He has refused to do so. The man accused of starting the deadly Palisades fire in Southern California in January is in Southern California. Jonathan Rinderknecht will be arraigned today. And American chess grandmaster Daniel Naroditsky has died, and while the cause of the 29-year-old death has not been made public, the International Chess Federation says it's considering disciplining a Russian player who persistently claimed he was cheating. I'm Brian Clark, ABC News.
This is the Newsradio KONP Noon Report.
Cloud Ortloff in the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening this Thursday afternoon, October 23rd. A large law enforcement response this morning to a reported hostage situation at the 800 block of South Pine Street. It was ultimately determined to be unfounded, according to Port Angeles Police. Deputy Police Chief Jason Vieira says that they were called to a report of a domestic disturbance at a residence there. Additional details included that a male suspect armed with a hunting rifle had taken a woman hostage and was holding her in the backyard. Vieira said they deployed resources in an effort to ensure the safety of everyone in the area while they investigated the report. It confirmed that the incident did not, in fact, occur and the caller was suffering some type of mental crisis. He said efforts are ongoing to link the caller with behavioral health services. The whole incident appeared to be cleared by about 10:45 this morning. Arrest warrants have now been issued for a Port Angeles couple accused of stabbing a Good Samaritan and stealing his vehicle in Carlsberg. The Clallam County Sheriff's Office says 30-year-old Nicholas Well and 29-year-old Rosario Lopez Castro face charges of attempted second-degree murder, first-degree robbery, and theft of a motor vehicle, each with bail set at $750,000. Prosecutors added enhancements for using a deadly weapon and targeting a Good Samaritan. Now, deputies say 60-year-old Melvin Swiggerty of Port Angeles was stabbed in the neck about 8:10 p.m. Sunday on Carlsberg Road. He had earlier stopped to help a stranded family along Highway 101 near Deer Park Road. Swiggerty was airlifted to Harborview Medical Center with his condition still unknown. The suspects, who have 7 children, were found hours later after the stabbing in Swiggerty's stolen Lexus near Bremerton. Deputies recovered a bloody knife from Wells' pocket. Both were arrested on related charges in Kitsap County, where they remain in jail with additional bail and no contact orders protecting the victim and those children. 5 people safely evacuated from a residential fire early this morning east of Sequim. No injuries reported. Clallam County Fire District 3 said the occupants were alerted by smoke alarms about 12:56 a.m. and called 911 reporting flames in the ceiling and going down a wall. Crews arrived within 10 minutes and began an exterior attack on the 2-story home in the 27100 block of U.S. Highway 101. Additional units assisted with fire suppression and a search of the structure. Firefighters also ventilated the roof using chainsaws to access any hidden flames, and water tenders from 3 stations provided water supplies for that fire. The Port Angeles City Council has approved a series of utility rate increases aimed at keeping local services financially stable. One of the hikes has been delayed somewhat. Under the plan passed Tuesday night, electric, solid waste, and Medic One rates will all go up to help cover service costs and fund future infrastructure. The adjustments stem from a cost of service study intended to ensure the city's utilities remain self-sustaining. So for a typical household, the base electric charge will climb from about $34 to $42 per month, plus a small increase in the per kilowatt hour rate. Garbage and recycling rates will go up about 14%. Yard waste service is going to nearly double, and the Medic One fee will go from $12 to almost $15. Now, while most of the rate adjustments will take effect at the first of the year, the council did vote to delay the electric rate hike part until June, giving customers an extra 5 months outside to get through the cold winter months before those higher bills would arrive. More news after this.
Home affordability. Yes, it does exist here on the peninsula with Mountain View Homes. Looking for a quality craftsmanship home at 40% less than stick-built? Call Mountain View Homes. We specialize in affordable homes with full-service land packages, dirt to turnkey, quality, beautiful, and an efficient manufactured home on the site of your choice. Mountain View Homes has 3 locations to serve you, including Carlsberg. Visit mtviewhomes.com. That's mtviewhomes.com.
Medicare open enrollment is here. For a lot of people, it's still confusing. But don't worry, help is available with the Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit from the Office of the Insurance Commissioner and SHIBA. Find out what's changing and learn your Medicare options with 7 easy steps to get ready for open enrollment. Get your free Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit now at insurance.wa.gov or pick up a copy at your local library or senior center.
Hello, I'm Penny Sanders. I'm running for OMC Hospital Commissioner Position 7. Our hospital is facing several challenges, both financial and operational. I'm prepared to work as a board member to overcome those challenges to keep our hospital serving our community. I am qualified, committed to community care, and ready to serve this 2-year term. Please vote for me, Penny Sanders, on November 4th. Thank you. This ad paid for by Penny for OMC.
In other news, a 21-year-old bicyclist from Pennsylvania was seriously injured yesterday afternoon after being struck by a pickup truck on Highway 101 near Straight View Drive in the Morse Creek Corners. The State Patrol says River Yost of Westchester, Pennsylvania, was traveling eastbound, tried to turn left to cross the traffic about 4 p.m. He was hit by a westbound 2004 Dodge Ram. Troopers say the driver of that truck, 49-year-old Diane Hunt of Port Angeles, was not hurt, and 2 passengers in the truck also uninjured. Yost was wearing a helmet but was airlifted to Harborview Medical Center in Seattle with some serious injuries. The crash caused miles-long backups along Highway 101 for more than an hour during the evening commute as troopers investigated and cleared the scene. A Port Angeles student was killed, 2 others seriously injured after a car plunged nearly 80 feet off the Highway 99 overpass in Seattle late Saturday night. Seattle police say the crash happened about 10 p.m. near East Marginal Way South and South Spokane Street in the Soto district. The car went over a guardrail and landed upside down on the street below. Now, according to the Port Angeles School District, 1 of those 4 in the vehicle was a Lincoln High School student, and 2 were former Port Angeles High School students. The district confirmed 1 student died and 2 others remain hospitalized with serious injuries. No names have been released. The emergency crews transported all 4 occupants to Harborview Medical Center. Police say the teen who was ejected from the vehicle died from his injuries, while the others continue to get treatment. Investigators are looking into whether speed, impairment, or the weather played a role in that crash. Governor Bob Ferguson Wednesday ordered an executive order, signed one, to improve how Washington state works with Native American tribes. The order mandates new consultation policies, expanded training on tribal sovereignty for state employees, and gives the governor's Office of Indian Affairs a permanent seat in the executive cabinet. Signed at the annual Centennial Accord meeting, the order also protects sensitive indigenous knowledge and requires a progress report by next October. Talks are continuing today on natural resources, education, healthcare, and tribal economies. And nighttime travelers who use Highway 101 between Sequim and Gardner should plan for some overnight lane closures starting tonight. WSDOT crews will be conducting a variety of construction activities in the overnight on those sections of highway. Working hours 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. through Monday through Thursday nights through November 12th. The work zone will be down to 1 lane with alternating traffic. Crews will be putting finishing touches on 4 new bridges built earlier this year. Work also includes grinding rumble strips in, also installing some new guardrail and applying permanent striping. The work is weather dependent. This is Newsradio KONP.
This is Lori Forrest, running for Hospital Commissioner Position 7. I'm a nurse practitioner with years of hospital experience. Now I volunteer at our local free clinic. I moved here knowing we had a vibrant community hospital. Like many of you, I would have hesitated to move here without it. Now our hospital's in financial crisis. We must balance our checkbook to stay open. To get it right, we must protect patient services, maintain quality and safety, and stretch every dollar. I can help strike that balance. Thank you for your vote.
Paid for by Force for OMC.
This afternoon on the Todd Ortloff Show, the election spotlight continues. Port Angeles City Council Position 4 candidates Kate Dexter and Mimi Smith-Dvorak face off on the TO Show.
Join us at 1 o'clock Monday through Thursday for the Todd Ortloff Show on KONP. Information to keep you engaged in your community with the people and organizations who keep it running. Sponsored by Dan Shappy, Farmers Insurance.
There's a new voice in Port Angeles, and she wants to be your voice. Vote for change. Vote Mimi, Port Angeles City Council Position 4.
This ad was paid for by me, Marilee Mimi Smith-Dvorak.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Daytime highs approaching 58 this afternoon under overcast skies with a chance for isolated rain showers, winds out of the northeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance for rain tonight, lows level off around 47, overcast skies. Highs level off around 56 tomorrow. Heavy rain likely. 51 Saturday with rain likely. 49 Sunday, chance for showers continues. Taking a look at the extended forecast, 49 Monday, 49 Tuesday, and 52 on Wednesday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently 54.
Maybe Paul Simon would be proud. Good morning, I'm Jay Reynolds. Stilt, crazy. After all these years, someone comes close to Wilt Chamberlain. VJ Edgecombe with 34 for the Sixers in their one-point win in Boston. That's the most points in an NBA debut since Wilt the Stilt in 1959. Tyrese Maxey with 40 in the win. Anthony Edwards, 41 for the Wolves. They beat the Blazers 118-114. Also had a 40-point night for the Spurs.
Wembanyama, the spin move on Christie. Pull-up baseline jumper. Caught it. Victor Wembanyama. It's a 40-point game. It's his fifth career 40-point game.
WOAI with the call. Wembanyama with 40. Spurs roll over the Mavs by 33. Cooper Flagg with 10 points, 10 rebounds in his debut in the loss. Suns rally from down 20. They beat the Kings 120-116. Devin Booker with 31. Jazz never trailed. They led by as much as 37. They beat the Clippers by 21. Raptors by 20 over the Hawks, 138-118. Grizzlies topped the Pelicans 128-122. John Morant with 35. 37 for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Bucks beat the Wizards in their season opener. Knicks an 8-point win over the Cavs despite 19 threes from Cleveland. Hockey, the Devils have a 6-game win streak. They beat the Wild 4-1. They've scored at least 3 goals in each of their first 7 games. Sabres double up the Red Wings 4-2. Detroit's first loss since the season opener. Their 5-game win streak comes to an end. Canadiens beat the Flames in overtime. Calgary has a 7-game winless streak. Football, Commanders ruling out quarterback Jaden Daniels for the Monday night game in Kansas City. Marcus Mariota will get the start. Aaron Rodgers says playing the Packers is not a revenge game for him this weekend. Commissioner Roger Goodell says the league is not reconsidering Bad Bunny as the halftime show. World Series opens tomorrow. Dodgers, Blue Jays in Toronto. Kurt Suzuki officially introduced by the Angels as their skipper. Giants filled their vacancy with Tony Vitello from the University of Tennessee.
Turning to local sports now, the Olympic League cross-country meet takes place starting today at Dungeness Golf Course. Races begin at 5 p.m. In soccer action, girls 9-3 Port Angeles hosts 4-8 Bremerton at 7:15. Squim now 5-7 hosts 9th-ranked 10-2 North Kitsap at 7 tonight. In volleyball, Port Angeles at 4-7 and in 5th place hosts 0-11 Bremerton. Meanwhile, 10-1 North Kitsap travels to 3rd place 9-3 Squim. Both matches begin at 6:30. Looking ahead to football tomorrow night, the 2-5 Bremerton Knights travel to 2-5 Port Angeles. The Knights are 2-2 in league play, and they're coming off a 49-28 loss to North Mason. They're averaging 24 points per game, giving up 29. The Rough Riders at 1-3 in the league showed their big play potential against Squalicum, scoring 4 touchdowns of more than 49 yards last weekend. But overall, Port Angeles is averaging just 18 points per game while allowing 30. And in a game you'll hear here on KONP, the 3-4 Sequim Wolves will travel to 1-6 Bainbridge. Sequim is on a 4-game skid after winning its first 3 non-league contests. Bainbridge has been more competitive lately, beating Port Angeles in overtime and losing to North Kitsap last Friday on a last-second field goal, 24-21. The Spartans are averaging 12 points per game while giving up 35. The Wolves are averaging 18, and they're allowing 27. Our KONP pregame show kicks off at 6:05 tomorrow night, featuring Wolves senior tight end Andrew Keeler and junior center Gavin Albers, followed by the Ian Henley Show. And at the half, the Wolves VIP show spotlights Sequim's own Pearl Peterson, the talented singer and performer now studying at the University of Illinois. She'll share the latest on her music career and make her best case for why her Fighting Illini will knock off the Washington Huskies Saturday at Husky Stadium. Kraken hockey back on the air this afternoon here on KONP. 4:30 for the pregame. They drop the puck at 5 o'clock here on Newsradio KONP.
You hear that? That's the sound of Pepsi Zero Sugar, the better tasting, more refreshing zero sugar cola. Listen to that endless pour. Pure refreshment. If it sounds this good, just imagine how it tastes. Oh yeah, so good. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Let your taste decide.
Hey there, Dawn Riding with Olympic Hot Tub. You know what's better than soaking every night in a saltwater hot spring spa? Knowing you got it for an incredible price during our great rebate event. Save up to $4,500 on the best hot tub you can own. Saltwater soaking, incredible savings, sleeping better, feeling better. What are you waiting for? Our great rebate event ends October 27th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Newsradio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Some positivity on Wall Street today, thanks in part to rising energy and tech shares. Crude oil gaining after the Trump administration slapped new sanctions on some Russian oil companies. Binance co-founder Zhao has received a pardon from President Trump, marking a significant move by the president to support the crypto industry. The pardon follows Zhao's guilty plea to violations and a $4.3 billion settlement with the U.S. government over failing to implement adequate anti-money laundering measures at Binance. And U.S. home prices are still rising, but more slowly now. And in today's environment, some see that as a buying opportunity combined with slipping mortgage rates. Low price gains help explain September's increase in U.S. existing home sales, according to the National Association of Realtors. Meantime, Freddie Mac says today the mortgage rate on a 30-year fix dropped to the lowest in more than a year. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
Angelus Furniture is home to your Stress List by Eckernes experts. Right now is the time to take a look around your living room or office area and ask yourself, does this move me? If the answer is no, let's change that. Stop by Angelus Furniture today and take advantage of 10% off all stressless furniture. Live in a space that moves you by its beauty. Stop by Angelus Furniture today and find out about 10% off all stressless furniture.
It's the time of year to get your equipment serviced for the winter, and Leeds Farm Supply can get you taken care of. We service everything from mowers to tractors to handheld chainsaws and weed eaters. We have trained techs to take care of any machine from handhelds to large tractors. We have competitive pricing and a quick turnaround. Call us at 452-1400 and talk to Jeremiah to get your service taken care of. Leeds Farm Supply, your local farm and equipment dealer, and so much more. Located at 259110 Highway 101 in Sequim.
Newsradio KONP, traffic and roads.
All right, up to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center we go, and that's where Steve's standing by with a check of the noontime traffic for us. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, we're doing pretty good out there overall. If you're out and about in the Port Angeles or Sequim area right now, things moving along pretty smoothly. Fairly busy out there. Just a fair amount of vehicles, but they are moving along pretty nicely out there, so you shouldn't have much trouble making your way around town. If you're out on the highway between Port Angeles and Sequim, you should be doing just fine. No real problems out there right now. Traffic is moving pretty smooth. State ferries are running on time, and no scheduled openings of the Hood Canal Bridge expected this afternoon. If you're headed out to the west end, we're looking good as well. No real problems out that direction. Light to moderate traffic and right at the speed limit. So everybody take care. Enjoy your afternoon. This is Steve reporting live from Clown Transit for KONP.
All right, thank you, Steve. We'll get another update from you in about a half hour as we continue here on the noon news hour for this Thursday. Your weather forecast calls for some clouds on and off showers, especially later this afternoon. We'll hit about 60, clouding up with rain rolling in tonight, and then tomorrow rain heavy at times with highs mid-50s to low 60s. It's going to stay rainy and breezy Friday night, Saturday night, and into Sunday as well. Current conditions across the peninsula in Port Townsend down to the east end. It is raining there lightly, 57 degrees. Out west at Forks, they're just cloudy and 57. Squim's got overcast conditions, 55, and it's partly cloudy here in Port Angeles, and 54 degrees at last check out at Fairchild Airport. Well, millions of eggs have been recalled in the U.S. for salmonella concerns. ABC's chief business correspondent Rebecca Jarvis explains.
6 million eggs from black sheep and Ken's hens have been recalled for this possible salmonella contamination. The FDA adding recalled products from the Black Sheep Egg Company were also sold to retailers and other wholesale companies in several states, including Arkansas, Missouri, and Texas between July 9th and September 17th, 2025, where they may have been repackaged and distributed to more states.
ABC Entertainment News.
Girl looks so good on you, right?
Emily in Paris is headed to Rome. The first trailer for season 5 of the Netflix series finds Emily, played by Lily Collins, falling in and out of love in the Eternal City, while also making pit stops in Venice and, of course, Paris. Minnie Driver joins the cast for the new season. Look for Emily in Paris to return on Netflix in December. Brandi Carlile fans, listen up. Not only does the singer's new album, Returning to Myself, come out tomorrow, she's also going on tour, according to a new announcement. Carlile says the Human Tour, as it's known, will hit 10 cities between February and March of next year, starting at the Xfinity Mobile Arena in Philadelphia.
Oh, bad guys to kill.
And happy birthday to Deadpool himself. Comedian Ryan Reynolds is turning 49 today. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
For the most part, when people who are overweight lose weight, they feel a lot better. Their bodies start experiencing physiological changes. They can move around more easily. Not to mention, they're probably getting a lot of positive feedback from family and friends. But there's this interesting new study out of Canada, which found that people who cut too many calories from their diet might experience worsening depression, at least until they start to see and feel the results of their weight loss. Experts we talked to about this said, try to find better balance, rather than taking things to the extreme. For example, are you actually eating healthy meals and eating slowly enough to be mindful about what you eat? That might help you come to realize that maybe you don't really need that second portion or that sweet treat after all. Of course, if you still have trouble, a registered dietitian might be able to help. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Remember when they used to ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? At Bank of America, we ask every day, what would you like the power to do? When you work here, you help build businesses, inspire communities, and forge legacies. And now we've raised our U.S. minimum wage to $25 an hour. So the opportunity to do more also comes with competitive pay. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/25. Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Hello, I'm Jerry Stewart, and this is One Moment in America. We've all heard the saying, clothes don't make the man, but answer this question. Is it the amount of words that make for a good speech? I'll tell you that story after this important message.
Hello, I'm Jerry Stewart. Not long ago, I was approached by a listener who voiced an interest in having me come to speak to his group. But then he said, "Oh, you're probably too busy, and our group doesn't have much to pay you." After we talked further, to his surprise, we began the plan for me to come to speak. Folks, I do speak to groups a lot, and my wife Kelly and I, we are on the road a lot. But we want more. You see, it's the meetings, the talking, the sharing that we believe gives us our best chance for a better, greater America.
Want to invite me to come speak at your meeting or event? Do this. Call me at 817-995-4607.
Or email me at jerry@jerrystewartusa.com. Wow, that was fast. Hello, Jerry Stewart.
God bless you. In July of 1863, the single bloodiest battle in U.S. history was fought in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. And in November of that same year, that battlefield became a cemetery, and notable speakers were asked to come and dedicate that cemetery with their words. The main speaker was famous orator Edward Everett. He spoke for 2 hours. Then rose President Lincoln. And in less than 3 minutes, with only 272 words, he delivered perhaps the greatest speech in all our American history. What makes a good and powerful speech? Think about it. I'm Jerry Stewart, and that was One Moment in America.
Latricia brings more than experience. She brings a vision for a healthier, stronger future. Latricia's roots run deep, and her heart is with the community.
One step at a time for the next 7 generations. This is Latricia Suggs. Let's build a future that reflects the best of who we are and who we can become. Vote Latricia Suggs for Port Angeles City Council, Position 1.
Paid for by the committee to elect Latricia Suggs.
Do you know when your septic system was last inspected? Clallam County Environmental Health keeps those records and can tell you. Pumping your septic and complete septic inspections by licensed professionals are 2 very different things. State law requires inspections every 1 to 3 years, depending on the system you have. Get more information about your septic system and inspection requirements by calling Clallam County Environmental Health 360-417-2258 or by logging on to clallam.net/septic.
Medicare open enrollment is here. For a lot of people, it's still confusing. But don't worry, help is available with a Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit from the Office of the Insurance Commissioner and SHEBA. Find out what's changing and learn your Medicare options with 7 easy steps to get ready for open enrollment. Get your free Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit now at insurance.wa.gov or pick up a copy at your local library or senior center.
Do you love live music, hate the drive out of town, and don't want to spend tons of money on cover charges and tickets? Then make it your plan to head over to the Eagles Club in Port Angeles. From 6:30 till 9:30, catch live music each and every Saturday night. Eagles members are always free, and non-members pay just $10. Check out the Fraternal Order of Eagles Port Angeles on Facebook to see their music and event schedule. It's live music every Saturday night at the Eagles Club in Port Angeles.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the administration is concerned about the effects of a protracted shutdown on the impending holiday travel season.
Let us be very clear from the White House today. If the Democrats continue to keep the government closed, we fear there will be significant flight delays, disruptions, and cancellations in major airports across the country this holiday season. If Democrats continue to shut down the government, they will also be shutting down American air travel.
On Capitol Hill today, Democrats killed a Republican bill that would have provided paychecks to essential workers despite the ongoing shutdown. Democrats say they rejected the pay bill because it's, in their words, selective and incomplete. The feds have uncovered a massive sports fraud scandal. It encompasses everything from illegal high-stakes poker games to the use of confidential insider information on sports players and teams. New York City's 3 mayoral candidates debate just days ahead of early voting.
Former Governor Andrew Cuomo said in Wednesday's debate, carried by Spectrum News New York 1, that if front-runner Zohran Mamdani won, President Donald Trump would take over the city. Republican Curtis Sliwa accused Cuomo and Mamdani of antagonizing Trump, and Mamdani questioned Cuomo about sexual harassment allegations that forced Cuomo's resignation as governor.
Describing these allegations as entirely political.
Cuomo fired back.
Fully litigated for 4 years, the cases were dropped.
Sliwa accused both men of fighting like kids in a schoolyard. I'm Donna Warder.
And it looks to be a robust session so far on Wall Street. An hour from the close, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up by 193 points. The high-tech NASDAQ up by 230. And the S&P 500 also eking out a small gain, up by just about 50 points. More of these stories at townhall.com.
Every time I turn around, my friends at Pure Talk give me one more reason to feel good about switching. This month, for instance, they're supporting Canines for Warriors, a terrific organization that trains rescue dogs and then pairs them up with combat veterans struggling with PTSD. The result? They're saving lives on both ends of the leash. This is why I switched to Pure Talk. I like being in business with an American wireless company who shares my values. Yeah, I appreciate unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $25 a month, and I bet you will too. But I think you'll really appreciate doing business with a company who gives back to the men and women who volunteered to defend our country. Just dial pound 250, say micro. With Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team, you can switch in as little as 10 minutes. Again, dial pound 250, say micro, to switch to an American wireless company who actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
It appears some cancer patients might benefit from several COVID vaccines.
The most widely used COVID-19 vaccines may offer a surprise benefit for some cancer patients, revving up their immune systems to help fight tumors. People with advanced lung or skin cancer who were taking certain immunotherapy drugs lived substantially longer if they also got a Pfizer or Moderna shot within 100 days of starting treatment. The molecule that powers those specific vaccines, mRNA, appears to help the immune system respond better to cutting-edge cancer treatments. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
President Trump is imposing sanctions on Russia's 2 biggest oil companies and the billions of dollars they reap for Moscow's war against Ukraine. The European Union also ratcheting up its pressure on Moscow, adding more sanctions and phasing out natural gas imports. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. Some big changes in store for the New York Giants.
National Football League owners voted to approve the sale of 10% of the New York Giants to Julia Koch and her family. The Koch family acquired a minority non-controlling interest that will further support the growth of the organization, deepen its community impact, and embrace future opportunities. The Mara and Tisch families remain the controlling owners, with the organization saying its leadership structure is unchanged.
That is Bill Alexander reporting. Existing home sales surged last month as declining mortgage rates and a pickup in available properties on the market encouraged home shoppers. The National Association of Realtors says used home sales rose by 1.5% compared to the month of August to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of just over 4 million houses. That is the fastest sales pace seen since February of this year. You'll find more on these stories at townhall.com.
This is the Newsradio KONP Noon Report.
It's Outdoor Live from the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening this Thursday afternoon, October 23rd. A large law enforcement response this morning to a reported hostage situation at the 800 block of South Pine Street. It was ultimately determined to be unfounded, according to Port Angeles Police. Deputy Police Chief Jason Vieta says that they were called to a report of a domestic disturbance at a residence there. Additional details included that a male suspect armed with a hunting rifle had taken a woman hostage and was holding her in the backyard. Vieta said they deployed resources in an effort to ensure the safety of everyone in the area while they investigated the report. It confirmed that the incident did not, in fact, occur and the caller was suffering some type of mental crisis. He said efforts are ongoing to link the caller with behavioral health services. The whole incident appeared to be cleared by about 10:45 this morning. Arrest warrants have now been issued for a Port Angeles couple accused of stabbing a Good Samaritan and stealing his vehicle in Carlsberg. The Clallam County Sheriff's Office says 30-year-old Nicholas Well and 29-year-old Rosario Lopez Castro face charges of attempted second-degree murder, first-degree robbery, and theft of a motor vehicle, each with bail set at $750,000. Prosecutors added enhancements for using a deadly weapon and targeting a Good Samaritan. Now, deputies say 60-year-old Melvin Swiggerty of Port Angeles was stabbed in the neck about 8:10 p.m. Sunday on Carlsberg Road. He had earlier stopped to help a stranded family along Highway 101 near Deer Park Road. Swiggerty was airlifted to Harborview Medical Center with his condition still unknown. The suspects, who have 7 children, were found hours later after the stabbing in Swiggerty's stolen Lexus near Bremerton. Deputies recovered a bloody knife from Wells' pocket. Both were arrested on related charges in Kitsap County, where they remain in jail with additional bail and no contact orders protecting the victim and those children. 5 people safely evacuated from a residential fire early this morning east of Sequim. No injuries reported. Clallam County Fire District 3 said the occupants were alerted by smoke alarms about 12:56 a.m. and called 911 reporting flames in the ceiling and going down a wall. Crews arrived within 10 minutes and began an exterior attack on the 2-story home in the 27100 block of U.S. Highway 101. Additional units assisted with fire suppression and a search of the structure. Firefighters also ventilated the roof using chainsaws to access any hidden flames, and water tenders from 3 stations provided water supplies for that fire. The Port Angeles City Council has approved a series of utility rate increases aimed at keeping local services financially stable. One of the hikes has been delayed somewhat. Under the plan passed Tuesday night, electric, solid waste, and Medic One rates will all go up to help cover service costs and fund future infrastructure. The adjustments stem from a cost of service study intended to ensure the city's utilities remain self-sustaining. So for a typical household, the base electric charge will climb from about $34 to $42 per month, plus a small increase in the per kilowatt hour rate. Garbage and recycling rates will go up about 14%. Yard waste service is going to nearly double, and the Medic One fee will go from $12 to almost $15. Now, while most of the rate adjustments will take effect at the first of the year, the council did vote to delay the electric rate hike part until June, giving customers an extra 5 months outside to get through the cold winter months before those higher bills would arrive. More news after this.
I'm County Commissioner Randy Johnson and honored to endorse Jerry Steffans to serve as our next OMC Hospital Commissioner for Position 1. I've served for 6 years with Jerry on the Clallam County Board of Health, including during the pandemic. Jerry's a retired physician who helped found the Rediscovery Program. Because of this work, was voted as Citizen of the Year for the year 2022 by the Chamber. Jerry's knowledge of hospitals will make him the best choice to be your next hospital commissioner.
Paid for by elect Jerry Steffans. You may have seen on the news, gold and silver are at an all-time high. Ever wonder what your old jewelry and coin collections are worth? Come see me at American Rare Coin and Gold in Sequim. We can all use a little extra money, right? Here at American Rare Coin, we love to buy gold and silver and provide you the best prices. American Rare Coin and Gold, 338 West Washington in Sequim, or call 360-968-4943. 360-968-4943. 4943.
Hi, this is John Holm, president of Tri-State Roofing, your local and family-owned company. If you're interested in a metal roof, prices are going up across the country, but we receive volume discounts through the manufacturer, and we pass that savings on to you. Act now and call 360-208-2222. Financing is available.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
In other news, a 21-year-old bicyclist from Pennsylvania was seriously injured yesterday afternoon after being struck by a pickup truck on Highway 101 near Straightview Drive in the Moores Creek Corners. The State Patrol says River Yost of Westchester, Pennsylvania, was traveling eastbound, tried to turn left to cross the traffic about 4 p.m. He was hit by a westbound 2004 Dodge Ram. Troopers say the driver of that truck, 49-year-old Diane Hunt of Port Angeles, was not hurt, and 2 passengers in the truck also uninjured. Yost was wearing a helmet but was airlifted to Harborview Medical Center in Seattle with some serious injuries. The crash caused miles-long backups along Highway 101 for more than an hour during the evening commute as troopers investigated and cleared the scene. A Port Angeles student was killed, 2 others seriously injured after a car plunged nearly 80 feet off the Highway 99 overpass in Seattle late Saturday night. Seattle police say the crash happened about 10 p.m. near East Marginal Way South and South Spokane Street in the Soto district. The car went over a guardrail and landed upside down on the street below. Now, according to the Port Angeles School District, 1 of those 4 in the vehicle was a Lincoln High School student, and 2 were former Port Angeles High School students. The district confirmed 1 student died and 2 others remain hospitalized with serious injuries. No names have been released. Emergency crews transported all 4 occupants to Harborview Medical Center. Police say the teen who was ejected from the vehicle died from his injuries, while the others continue to get treatment. Investigators are looking into whether speed, impairment, or the weather played a role in that crash. Governor Bob Ferguson Wednesday ordered an executive order, signed one, to improve how Washington state works with Native American tribes. The order mandates new consultation policies, expanded training on tribal sovereignty for state employees, and gives the governor's Office of Indian Affairs a permanent seat in the executive cabinet. Signed at the annual Centennial Accord meeting, the order also protects sensitive indigenous knowledge and requires a progress report by next October. Talks are continuing today on natural resources, education, healthcare, and tribal economies. And nighttime travelers who use Highway 101 between Squim and Gardner should plan for some overnight lane closures starting tonight. WSDOT crews will be conducting a variety of construction activities in the overnight on those sections of highway. Working hours 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. through Monday through Thursday nights through November 12th. The work zone will be down to 1 lane with alternating traffic. Crews will be putting finishing touches on 4 new bridges built earlier this year. Work also includes grinding rumble strips in, also installing some new guardrail and applying permanent striping. The work is weather dependent. This is Newsradio KONP.
End-of-life decisions are hard. Be it pre-planning or sudden loss, you need to have an advocate in your corner, which is why I wholeheartedly recommend Drennan & Ford Funeral Home and Crematory in Port Angeles, the only locally owned funeral home and crematory in Clallam County. Their expertise ensures a smooth process so you can focus on healing and being with your loved ones. Their help through the darkest time in my life will forever stay with me. Call 360-457-1210.
Me, only me. There's a new voice in Port Angeles, and she wants to be your voice. Vote for change. Vote Mimi, Port Angeles City Council, Position 4. Me, only me.
This ad was paid for by me, Marilee Mimi Smith Dvorak.
Bring your kids to the Next Door Gastropub.
We already know that adults have been loving Next Door Gastropub for over 13 years, but the kids love it too.
My favorite thing is the cheeseburger and fries. My favorite thing is grilled cheese and fries. But everything is good.
You'll feel the good vibes the moment you walk in, and your mouth will do a happy dance from the very first bite you take, because
we got the best beef in town.
Bring your kids down to the Next Door Gastropub in downtown Port Angeles.
We're open every day at 11, and we close at 10.
Here's your Newsradio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Daytime highs approaching 58 this afternoon under overcast skies with a chance for isolated rain showers, winds out of the northeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance for rain tonight, lows level off around 47, overcast skies. Highs level off around 56 tomorrow. Heavy rain likely.
We check sports next with Robert Workman.
A dozen games on the NBA slate last night. Anthony Edwards put up the biggest number, 41 points, to lead the Timberwolves past the Blazers 118-114. His 3-ball put Minnesota ahead to stay with 1:14 to play. Spurs slashed the Mavericks 125-92. Victor Wembanyama poured in 40 points. 76ers got 40 from Tyrese Maxey as they shaded the Celtics 117-116. Rookie VJ Edgecombe added 34 for Philadelphia. That's the most by a player in his NBA debut since Wilt Chamberlain scored 43 in 1959.
Just come with putting in work, but like it feels great to have my name mentioned in the LeBron name. But credit to my teammates for passing me the ball.
Elsewhere, the Bucks bopped the Wizards 133-120. Giannis Antetokounmpo had 37 points plus 14 rebounds and 5 assists. Coach Doc Rivers.
Overall, for the most part, his timing on when to be aggressive, when to be a playmaker was sensational. I thought he picked his spots really well.
First game wins for the Knicks, Hornets, Magic, Raptors, Bulls, Grizzlies, Jazz, and Suns. NHL, the Devils tame the Wild 4-1. That's New Jersey's 6th win in a row. Sabres slash the Red Wings 4-2. And the Canadians doused the Flames 2-1 in overtime. 7 straight losses for Calgary after winning its opener. NFL Week 8 kicks off tonight when the Vikings visit the Chargers. Baseball's World Series begins tomorrow at Rogers Center in Toronto when the Blue Jays take on the Dodgers. 2 managerial openings filled yesterday. The Giants lured Tony Vitello away from the University of Tennessee. He becomes the first manager to go straight from the college ranks to the majors with no prior pro coaching experience. Vitello and the Volunteers won the College World Series in 2024. And down in Anaheim, the Angels gave Kurt Suzuki the reins for the first time. He caught for 16 years in the majors, winning a ring with the Nationals in 2019. 6 teams still in search mode. That's Thursday Sports.
This is Lori Forrest, running for Hospital Commissioner Position 7. I'm a nurse practitioner with years of hospital experience. Now I volunteer at our local free clinic. I moved here knowing we had a vibrant community hospital. Like many of you, I would have hesitated to move here without it. Now our hospital's in financial crisis. We must balance our checkbook to stay open. To get it right, we must protect patient services, maintain quality and safety, and stretch every dollar. I can help strike that balance. Thank you for your vote.
Paid for by Force for OMC.
Get ready to dance this Saturday night at the Squim VFW. It's Black Diamond Junction, playing the classic hits of the 1970s and 80s. From Fleetwood Mac to Journey, the songs you know and love played live. The fun happens 6 to 8 p.m. and the public is welcome. And hey, it's Halloween season, so costumes are encouraged too. Come dance, sing, and celebrate with Black Diamond Junction this Saturday, 6 o'clock at the Squim VFW.
Your community-minded friends at First Fed bring you the Community Corner, highlighting good things happening right here in our area.
The Seroptimist of Port Angeles has their Elegant Gourmet coupon books available now for purchase. After nearly 40 years, the price of the Elegant Gourmet coupon book still just $10 and is the Seroptimist major fundraiser each year. Over $613,000 has been raised for our community, providing scholarships, awards, and projects. This year's coupon book is better than ever, with 8 new merchants joining. There's coupons on dining, espresso, treats and sweets, merchandise, and many services. Purchase your Elegant Gourmet, etc. today from your favorite Seroptimist member or at Angeles Furniture and Jim's Pharmacy. Still only $10. The book pays for itself when you use just one of their valuable coupons.
Community Corner on KONP, presented by First Fed.
Newsradio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Shares of large tech companies have been trading higher today, and investors are also celebrating after the White House said President Trump and China's leader Xi will meet next Thursday on the sidelines of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in South Korea. It'll be the first face-to-face for the leaders since President Trump returned to power in January, and comes as a trade truce between Washington and China is set to expire November 10. Crude oil futures surging today after the Trump administration slapped new sanctions on Russian oil companies. Separately, the Trump administration opening the entire coastal plain of Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge to oil and gas leasing, reversing a Biden administration decision. And Amazon Prime Video says it'll make NFL Black Friday game available to stream for free worldwide. It's the first time an NFL game on Prime Video will be available to stream to non-subscribers. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
Let's get a last check of the noontime traffic next.
Growing your family is an exciting journey, and the labor and delivery team at Olympic Medical Center is here to walk it with you. Our team tailors your birthing experience with you, offering the choice and security you're looking for from the comfort of OMC's Birth Center. Learn more about OMC's team of obstetricians, nurse midwives, RNs, lactation consultants, and more at olympicmedical.org/Stork Squad.
McCrory Carpet One is part of a 1,000 store co-op. That means you get the competitive pricing of a big box store, but with a superior installation. Their team of professional installers are all employees who live here on the peninsula. Their installation teams take pride in their work because they know they're working for their neighbors and friends, local craftsmen helping local people. Experience the difference. It's why they say, always priced right and always done right at McCrory Carpet One.
News Radio KONP, traffic and roads.
All right, let's head up to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center, and that is where Steve's standing by with one last check of our noontime traffic and roads for us. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, we've been doing pretty good overall out there traffic-wise. If you're in the Port Angeles or Sequim area, it is definitely busy out there. You're going to find some delays at the stoplights, a little bit slow going through downtown Port Angeles. But overall, traffic is flowing along pretty well out there, considering if you're on the highway between Port Angeles and Sequim, things are looking pretty good. Traffic is moving along pretty well. Just a heads up, there's some rather large girders sitting out in the way station out there on 101. I think they're waiting for a pilot car to come around. And those things are going to be coming down the highway through town, so expect some delays when they get those things moving. So if you are in some slow traffic, that's probably why. So just be careful. Let them get their jobs done. If you're headed out beyond Sequim, Hood Canal Bridge, good to go with no scheduled marine openings and state ferries running on time today. West End traffic, we're doing pretty good. It's a little bit busy out there, but traffic is moving along pretty smoothly. So everybody take care. Enjoy your afternoon. This is Steve reporting live from Clallam Transit for KONP.
Thank you, Steve. Going to see some showers picking up through the afternoon today. Tonight, cloudy and some rain, and then tomorrow, rain, heavy at times, and rainy and some breezy conditions Saturday into Sunday as well. Right now, out there in Port Townsend's got 59 degrees with broken clouds out at the east end. In Forks, it's overcast, 59 as well. 55 in Sequim with mostly cloudy conditions, and broken clouds and 55 right now out at Fairchild Airport here in Port Angeles. President Trump now says he plans to boost imports of beef from Argentina to try and push down beef prices here in the U.S. Here's ABC's Andrea Fujii.
U.S. beef prices are at record highs. Ground chuck is almost 18% higher than last year, and sirloin steak 24% higher. Families are turning to cheaper options. Hamburger helper sales are up 14% this year.
New questions after the mysterious death last weekend of an American chess grandmaster, Daniel Naroditsky. He was found in his North Carolina home dead at the age of 29. More from ABC's Smola Longi.
Another top player, Vladimir Kramnik of Russia, recently began accusing Naroditsky of using computers to cheat at online chess. The accusations, made without evidence, seemingly took a toll on him. Naroditsky saying this in what would be his final online appearance.
But the problem is, ever since the Kramnik stuff, I feel like if I start doing well, people assume the worst of intentions.
At one point, Naroditsky reading a comment from a fan before implying it would be his last time playing.
The World Chess Federation now considering disciplinary action against Kramnik.
This past Monday, Amazon Web Services, AWS for short, was hit by a major outage. Apps, websites, and online tools used by millions of people around the world were unavailable for 7 hours. And now, rumors are spreading on TikTok that Amazon took itself down by testing a massive internet kill switch. Let me tell you why that's not true. I'm Kim Commando for SimpliSafe. Visit simplisavekim.com to save 50% on a new system with a professional monitoring plan. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. We know that thousands of Amazon employees are unhappy campers. Fulfillment warehouse workers don't make much. Half are probably going to be replaced by Amazon robots. They call them, get this, cobots, since they'll be working alongside real people. The kill switch story is false. The internet was specifically designed with no single kill switch. It has no single point of control, but portions of it can be hacked. And for that, suspect China or Russia. But no one can completely shut it down. Sign up for my free newsletter right now at getkim.com. There's a new way to keep your home safe. It's called Simply Safe. It's completely different from what you think of when I say home security. You see, typical security systems don't prevent someone from entering your home. They only react when someone is already there. And that's too late. Real security stops a crime before it starts. That's why over 4 million Americans trust Simply Safe to keep their homes and their families safe. The moment someone steps onto your property, AI security cameras identify the threat and alert Simply Safe's professional monitoring agents. And they act immediately, confronting the criminal, and if they need to, trigger sirens and spotlights and dispatch the police. Simply Safe is like having your own personal security guard. And with a 60-day money-back guarantee and no long-term contracts, Simply Safe earns your business by keeping you and your family safe and satisfied every single day. Get 50% off your new Simply Safe system right now by going to simplysafekim.com. That's simplysafekim.com. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
We all know that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but we now know that what you have for breakfast can help cut your stress. I'll explain next in today's Intelligence for Your Life Minute.
This week at Macy's, it's the best time to save on fall styles at our biggest fall sale. Find the classic brown boots and preppy Mary Janes that everyone's wearing. Luxurious cashmere and wool sweaters. Even better, it's our lowest prices of the season on diamond jewelry, now 50 to 75% off. Over half off. Don't miss your chance to save big on the looks you need now at Macy's biggest fall sale. Today, savings off select styles. Exclusions apply.
According to the American Psychological Association, nearly 1 in 5 adults say their mental health is worse now than this time last year. So here are a few foods experts recommend people with anxiety eat for breakfast to set them up for a calmer, healthier day. Number 1, avocado, on toast or in an omelet. Avocado contains micronutrients like vitamin B6, which helps create mood-stabilizing serotonin, and magnesium, which helps regulate the body's stress response. Another breakfast food to tame anxiety is eggs. The yolks contain minerals like choline and zinc, which are associated with lower anxiety levels. Finally, have yogurt for breakfast. There's a link between fermented probiotic foods like yogurt and a reduction in anxiety. It's because the vast majority of serotonin receptors are located in the gut, and a deficiency in serotonin can lead to anxiety. I'm John Tesh with today's Intelligence for Your Life Minute.
I'm Jerry Steffens, and I'm running to serve as your next OMC Hospital Commissioner, Position 1. My top priority is keeping the hospital open and under local control while promoting a University of Washington affiliation to enhance local health care and make sure everyone in our community has access to care. You deserve an engaged, responsive, and effective leader who will adequately respond to the challenges our hospital is facing and restore trust in the hospital. I would be honored to represent you as your next OMC Hospital Commissioner, paid for by elect Jerry Steffens.
Olympic Game Farm is the place for you. Better than the circus or a day at the zoo. There's llamas and there's lions and a race for you. Olympic Game Farm is the place for you. Say hello to a buffalo, stick out his tongue. This place is just amazing for the old and the young. These zebras or a tiger might catch your eye. They've even got a bear who'll wave goodbye. It's so much fun, so bring your dad and your mom. Look us up at onlygamefarm.com.
Thank you for 80 incredible years. This is News Radio KONP Port Angeles Squim, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. Demolition work continues on the east wing of the White House, and pressed today on whether it's legal to act quickly as the president has. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said there's been a legal sign-off.
A submission is not required legally for that. Only for vertical construction will a submission be required, and that's a legal opinion from them, and we are following that legal opinion.
The president pardoned the founder of a top crypto exchange who recently bolstered the Trump family's crypto venture.
Changpeng Zhao pleaded guilty in 2023 to a money laundering charge. He's co-founder of Binance. Reports say he helped arrange a $2 billion deal with crypto made by World Liberty Financial, backed by the Trump family. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
The president and the White House have a very thorough examination of every pardon request.
Leavitt said Zhao was prosecuted under the Biden administration war on crypto.
President Trump said he will not send federal troops to San Francisco this weekend after speaking to the city's mayor. In San Francisco, Zach Fuentes with affiliate KGO says
the president telling him that they will no longer send the National Guard troops to San Francisco. But right now we're in Oakland, where U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agents went to Coast Guard Island. They were going to station there. What their mission is, we weren't entirely clear. All we know is that those agents have the power to do immigration arrests. And what the fear was that this would be a precursor to National Guard troops coming here to the Bay Area.
Federal workers thinking about paychecks as the government shutdown continues. One of those federal workers.
We are approaching our first full missed paycheck, so I think that's when it's really going to settle in a little bit more.
That's Courtney Bush. Today, the Senate failed to advance a bill that would have paid some federal workers during the shutdown. And Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups and Miami Heat player Terry Rozier arrested as part of a nationwide federal crackdown on alleged illegal gambling. You're listening to ABC News.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
There's still no sign of the people responsible for stealing more than $100 million worth of crown jewels from the Louvre in Paris over the weekend, but French authorities say they have tracked down DNA evidence from items outside the museum the thieves may have left behind. ABC's James Longman says there also could be some new video.
This video seems to have been filmed from inside the museum. We did hear extraordinary testimony just yesterday saying that the only security camera on the outside of the museum over the balcony was facing the wrong way, so nobody inside was given any notice as to what was happening.
Illinois lawmaker Darren Bailey's running for governor next year as a Republican. Today, his campaign said his son, daughter-in-law, and 2 grandchildren were killed Wednesday in a Montana helicopter crash. Asked about the deaths in Chicago, Governor J.B. Pritzker expressed his condolences, saying it's not a time for politics.
I cannot imagine losing a child, losing 2 grandchildren, and what they must be going through.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams dropped out of the race after he was beaten in the primary by Zoran Mamdani. Today, he endorsed the former governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo. And remember Clippy, the animated Microsoft Office paperclip? Microsoft announced his successor, Miko, a floating cartoon face shaped like a blob or flame. Unlike Clippy, it can be turned off. I'm Brian Clark, ABC News.
Hey everyone, it's Betsy Sue from Airport Garden Center. I wanted to let everyone know that our biggest sale of the year has started. Each week throughout the month of October, certain plants in that category will be 40% off. Outdoor glazed pottery and wood trellises will be 20% off all month long. You don't want to miss these savings. Pat and our knowledgeable staff will be here with any questions you have. We can't wait to see you.
Fall brings cooler temperatures, which means less stress on grassy areas. That means now is the perfect time to plant grass seed. We carry a wide variety of seeds specifically meant for our area, as well as organic lawn fertilizers that are kid and pet friendly. Help your lawn transition to its resting phase by mulching your lawn with G&B Soil Building Conditioner. Buy 3 bags and get the 4th bag free until the end of the month. Come visit us for any questions and we'll set you up for success. Remember, come see us at Airport Garden Center on Edgewood Drive.
KONP News brought to you by RE/MAX Evergreen Real Estate. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. 457-6600. 21-year-old bicyclist from Pennsylvania seriously injured Wednesday afternoon when being struck by a pickup on Highway 101 near the Morse Creek curves. The Washington State Patrol says River Yost was wearing a helmet. He tried to turn left across the traffic, was hit by a westbound Dodge Ram driven by Diane Hunt of Port Angeles. Hunt and her 2 passengers not hurt. Yost was airlifted at Harborview Medical Center. Governor Bob Ferguson signing a new executive order aimed at strengthening the state's relationship with Washington's 29 federally recognized tribes. The order expands sovereignty training for state employees, adds the governor's Office of Indian Affairs to his cabinet, and requires an annual progress report.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. Highs level off around 58 this afternoon under overcast skies with a chance for isolated rain showers. Winds out of the northeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance for rain tonight. Lows dip down to about 47. Cloudy skies expected. Heavy rain likely tomorrow. 56. Cloudy skies expected. 51 Saturday with rain likely. 49 Sunday. Showers continue. Taking a look at the extended forecast. 49 Monday, 49 Tuesday, and 52 on Wednesday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently 55.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
All right, my pleasure for this hour to have a couple more candidates in that are running for Port Angela City Council. This time out, position 7, Kate Dexter, the incumbent, and Marilee Mimi Smith-Dvorak are joining us, and they'll spend the next hour giving us a little insight as to why they want to be either elected. Oh, is it position 4? I'm sorry, I was looking at another thing on here. 4. Well, you could take 7 if you want, but right.
7's not open.
Anyway, you'll see these two on the ballot.
Yes.
And I thank both of them for coming in to chat a little bit with us. And we'll start out with a couple of minutes each from our candidates and an opening remark. We'll start with our incumbent, and that's you, Kate. So take it away. A couple of minutes of why you're running.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us today. I have been honored to serve the people of Port Angeles on the City Council for almost 8 years, most of that as mayor. I've worked closely with community leaders, staff, and fellow council members to pass legislation that addresses our city's most pressing needs. I'm especially proud of the work we've done to reduce barriers to constructing affordable housing and supporting our most vulnerable community members through programs like Rediscovery and the creation of the Community Paramedicine Program, and more recently, supporting the creation of Operation Shielding Hope. While we continue to make progress in these critical areas, our city faces new challenges that require thoughtful, steadfast, and experienced leadership. That experience is more important than ever as we work with dwindling state resources and uncertain and more unlikely federal support at the same time as many federal safety nets are slashed, making life harder for our neighbors. I have experience in dealing with crisis. I will say during the recent Indian Creek spill, I worked through the weekend with our staff, our Congresswoman's office, and the governor's office. I was on the phone at 10:30 that Saturday evening working to connect staff to State Department directors to get clarification and support necessary to continue to protect our water supply. I'm looking forward to continuing my record of local leadership supporting our community partners, nonprofits, first responders, our local Coast Guard members, and continuing our city-to-city relations with Victoria. In my next term, I will work on supporting nonprofits and the private sector to increase housing options, enhance our economic development by leveraging our region's unique resources, continuing our municipal code update, responding to climate change by safeguarding our water supply and diversifying our electrical grid, supporting public safety by ensuring Port Angeles is included in the $100 million public safety grant, and making sure that we continue to improve our infrastructure. While we have made significant progress, there are real challenges ahead in all of these areas, especially as we navigate the changing federal landscape and federal funding landscape and the potential for other federal policy impacts. I'm committed to working with our community partners so that together we can work to implement meaningful solutions and move our community forward. I was born and raised in Washington State and live here with my 2 sons. I have a graduate degree in public administration from the University of Washington and work as the clinical outreach and accreditation coordinator for the nursing program at Peninsula College. I serve on a number of local boards. Some of them are committee assignments from council. Those committees include the Clallam County Law and Justice Committee, Faro Marine Life Center, and the city's Utility Advisory Committee. I'm also on the board for the Municipal Research and Services Center, better known as MRSC, and have been the team mom on my son's Olympic Junior Babe Ruth baseball team for the last 2 years, though he has aged out, so that service will come to an end. I am passionate about municipal government, ensuring that everyone has a voice and feels respected and valued in our government, and working with our community to ensure a healthy, safe, and prosperous future for Port Angeles. Thank you.
All right, that's Kate Dexter. Marilee, a couple of minutes about why you're running.
Yep, with all my names, with Marilee Mimi Smith-Dvorak. I'm using all of them just because that's what is required these days. I've been in Port Angeles for more than 30 years. I've gone to city council meetings for more than 30 years. And I'm not really happy with the way that government's going. I don't think that any of us are better off now than we were 4 years ago. I don't think we're better off now than we were 8 years ago. I think that government's is really good at growing itself, but I don't think we can afford that, especially when you look at the fact that Port Angeles has only grown about 3,000 people since 1975. Our budget's gone way up. People are suffering, and I think that's really an issue. I see that there's been a lot of activity, but I don't necessarily think that we can afford this, the entire thing about let's go for grants. Well, yeah, grants are great. Do we really need bicycle lanes that we can only use 3 or 4 months a year? And my knees are too old. I can't use them. Do we need traffic circles? Do we need, seems to be a lot of activity. But at some point, you have to ask, is it really helping? So I'm an entrepreneur. I've been self-employed for years. Currently, I have a couple of businesses, and I know that Port Angeles is not the easiest place to do business in. There's a lot of barriers. We don't support our entrepreneurs. I think that we really need to start really, really getting our economic diversity up in the community and help every way that we can. And I see that government has forgotten about the people for the most part, and it's not. I think there's a new way to do it. I think there's a better way to do it. So that's what I'm trying to do.
All right. Those are your two candidates for position 4. I can read my own writing. Believe me, I can. Kate Dexter, Marilee Mimi Smith-Dvorak. We're going to take a break. We'll come back and do some questions with our candidates right after this.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Ever drive by Jungle Jane's and Squim and think, wow, those greenhouses are gorgeous? Well, guess what? There's more jungle magic inside. Step through the doors and you'll find a treasure trove of home decor. Lamps that glow like tropical sunsets, cozy pillows, stylish kitchenware, and pieces from local artisans that'll make your home roar with personality. Jungle Jane's isn't just outdoor glam, it's indoor decor paradise in disguise. Shop Jungle Jane's in Squim on the roundabout by Costco.
Visit A1 Auto Parts in Squim and get ready to cruise. A1 Auto Parts in Marine has a wide selection of marine, auto, and trailer supplies, plus very expert knowledge. Even custom-made hydraulic hoses while you wait, whether land or sea. Rely on A1 Auto Parts and Marine in Squim to help keep your Northwest adventure moving. A1 Auto Parts, right across from Sunshine Cafe, Squim.
This is Lori Force, running for Hospital Commissioner, Position 7. I'm a nurse practitioner with years of hospital experience. Now I volunteer at our local free clinic. I moved here knowing we had a vibrant community hospital. Like many of you, I would have hesitated to move here without it. Now our hospital's in financial crisis. We must balance our checkbook to stay open. To get it right, we must protect patient services, maintain quality and safety, and stretch every dollar. I can help strike that balance. Thank you for your vote.
Paid for by Force for OMC.
There's no doubt about it. Fall has fell. Hey everybody, it's Dale from Wilder Auto, and now is a great time to start thinking about a new or used 4x4 or all-wheel drive car, truck, SUV, or minivan for when our weather turns gnarly. We've got the biggest selection of those vehicles on the peninsula, and with the hefty rebates and amazing lease and finance options, plus the Wilder Advantage, why would you go anywhere else? Stop by and check us out today or 24/7 at wilderauto.com.
Losing a loved one is overwhelming. Your mind and your heart shut down. That's where Drennan and Ford Funeral Home and Crematory comes in. They took the burden off my family's shoulders and guided us through everything we needed to do. No pushy sales tactics or unanswered questions. They just held our hands and took care of everything we asked. That's why I will always recommend Drennan and Ford for end-of-life decisions. They handle the hurt like no one else can. Call 360-457-1210.
All right, welcome back to our program. We're talking this hour with the candidates for Port Angeles City Council position 4. Kate Dexter and Marilee Mimi Smith-Dvorak are my guests, and we're going to go to you first, Marilee, on this next question. And housing and growth. Let's talk a little bit about kind of that and your views about it. We're continuing to face a big shortage of affordable and workforce housing, especially right now. So if elected, what would you like to bring forth through the council, or maybe change? Just your thoughts about how you address that from the council level.
Well, it's really expensive to build a house. A lot of it's state regulations. A lot of it's our local permitting. That's a really good question. I mean, a lot of people can't afford houses, as we heard this morning from the real estate agent group. I think we have, I'm going to go back to economics. I think we have to raise our economic boat in the town before we can really start focusing on affordable housing, because who can afford it right now? But I would like to see things, and I would like to, I don't know, the city council may not be able to do anything, obviously, but I think that we should revisit the teacher cottages. That's something that Washington State pioneered, and that many other states are copying, are pioneering, but we're not doing it here. And that's where school land is used to build townhouses that teachers get first choice. And then after that, people who work for the school district, it's always reduced rent. And after that, it's open to the community. And we have some schools that have like 50 acres. And since we're not grazing cattle, I think it would probably be better if we could build some housing there, and that money from the rental goes to the school district. I think it's a good idea. I've seen it around the country where it's been used very well, including Berkeley, California. I think the hospital has an awful lot of property that could be turned back into livable housing. Other than that, I'm a big fan of the ADUs. There's a lot of other ways that you can maximize the ADUs, and I think we need to look into it. So, I don't know, housing is, and then again, once the boomers all die, there's going to be lots of housing.
On that note, over to you, Kate, and same question about how you address this affordable housing crisis.
Sure. So I will just touch on the growth piece really quickly and say that as likely many of your listeners are aware, we are currently undertaking the 10-year comprehensive plan update. And for those who don't know, I think it's just worth stating that the comp plan is the umbrella under which everything else we do falls. And it is important to me to have that community input, because it is the community's vision for the city over the next 20 years. And so certainly there's some guidance in that, and we have the responsibility of adopting it. But it is important to me, and I'm grateful to have so much community input on it at this point. And there are some things in that address some of what we're talking about. But I think for the purposes of today, I will address, because of course we could go talk about this all day. I think we need to continue focusing on encouraging multifamily housing. We need, I also am a fan of ADUs. We've done a lot of work to allow what would be considered infill development, where you can put smaller things on lots to build up some density, because we need more units. I was talking this morning about my son and his girlfriend were renting a place for $850 a month, which sounds amazing, but it was 135 square feet. And they ended up moving back home because their lease was up and they couldn't find another place, and they like each other, but not that much. So they wanted some space. And so I think thinking about how do we build enough housing so that rent comes down, and that there are units that work for a variety of people and help build some stepping stones to maybe purchasing a home at some point. We also have touched regularly over the last 8 years on vacant property. And today I'm talking about vacant property as in homes that are in Port Angeles that are sitting empty. And we keep talking about it, but we haven't done anything about it. And it's something I think we should look at, because we have houses that are sitting and falling apart. They're not going to be livable or financeable when someone is able to buy them. And I think we want to try to do something to incentivize people to either sell them or rent them out, and to maintain them. And then also, I think continuing to support organizations that are funding projects for homeowners who may not have the money to maintain their home, but maintaining the existing housing stock is another way that we can ensure that, losing housing stock is the opposite of what we need to be doing. And so continuing to support those organizations is important as well. And so I'll stick with that as my answer for today, and I'm sure we'll continue to talk about it.
All right, TK, we'll go to you on this next question.
Sure.
First, there's a lot of, people are feeling taxed and feed out of things. City Council just approved another round of what were some rate hikes that are coming.
Yes.
So your thoughts about that and the reality that we may be starting to price people out of being able to, live around here. I'm sure you hear this.
Yes, and I will say that while it may not seem that way, the vote on the utility rates was one of the hardest votes for me as a council member in all of the time I've been on council. We heard very clearly throughout the day that there is significant concern about affordability. And while the numbers on a graph show as a whole we're still much more affordable than a lot of other places that we compare to, it is a significant increase. And I think it is incumbent upon council to ensure that the city is healthy financially, and we can't run utilities at a deficit. And we talked about it for 2 hours, and I felt very confident at the end of that 2 hours, based on the questions that were asked and the feedback we got from staff, that they pared down as much as they could and stopped short of addressing levels of service. And so one of the things we did is voted to not start the electric increase until June 1, so that at least there's not this double hit when the rate increase goes into effect at the same time that you're using more electricity to heat your home. And I realize for a lot of people that doesn't help. One of the things that I am committed to, and that I stated in the meeting, and people can hold me to it, is if we are able to get a grant for something that is a capital project that we were setting money aside for, that money would be offset, would come back into the equation and bring the rates down. And that I'm not interested in waiting through the whole rate cycle. If there's an opportunity to come back down during the period, I want to have a conversation about it with staff. I also heard from a number of council members, and I think we will likely have a work session at some point in the new year, just to talk about levels of service and what that would look like. But I think it's important for people to remember that, we're talking about laying people off if we're talking about levels of service, likely, and that is also a hard conversation to have. Do we want to reduce the level of service in the electric utility so that we don't have the same level of maintenance on our lines that keep us from losing power? Like, the power doesn't go out very often here, and I think that's great, and I think that's what our community wants. And that if it goes out, it's generally back on in a couple of hours. And so we might be looking at not being able to do that. And maybe that's where we land. And I frankly don't see a path where things get significantly better in the short term. So I think it's important for us to have that conversation as a council. What would that look like? What's acceptable to us, and be prepared for potentially implementing some of those things, while also recognizing that, as a general rule, that also means that we may be creating more people who qualify for our utility discount program.
Okay. Marilee, over to you, a bit about the affordability piece.
Well, okay, I'm coming from a whole different perspective, which is an entrepreneurial perspective. And I know we've got a lot of really smart people in our community. And what some other communities do is they have the city council appoints financial oversight committee that would look at the finances and go through it heavily, because I don't think anyone on the city council really has a lot of budget experience, not for the $156 million or whatever it is. And also the tools that we have is fractured. If you go to open budgets, open payroll, open books, it only gives you one half of the equation. It just shows you what we paid out. It never shows you where money came from and how it came in. So you never get a real full picture. And I think a lot of the financial reports are confusing and they're archaic. I think that there's a lot better ways that we could handle our finances and see how we're really, where our waste is. I think that's absolutely important. I don't see why we need a forester. I don't see why we needed to add, 6-7 positions over the last couple of years. I think we need to really look at how do we tighten our belts, because that's what everybody in the community is doing. Nobody can afford to, everything's gone up. I mean, Netflix has gone up, stamps have gone up, alcohol's gone up, which is very important for these hard times. And then, but how many extra pairs of, sweaters do I have to put on to get it through this winter if I want to keep my rates kind of affordable? There's a lot of people who are on fixed incomes in this community, and I think that it is very unfair for the city to balance its checkbook by putting their hand in my wallet. I really think that there's a lot of things that could be cut, can be cut, and I think it's long overdue.
All right, we're going to take another break. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, we can go back and forth
if
on
it's
this
okay,
one. Just a minute.
Just
Go ahead.
to respond very briefly to that. I think it's important for regardless of how you feel about it, the utilities are like separate businesses, and each utility is like its own business. And so we could potentially raid the general fund to offset the cost of providing electric. But I feel like it's important from a fiduciary perspective, from a fiscal policy perspective, to keep those the way they are. That we are not, that we're funding electric we're charging only what it costs us to provide it, and to provide and maintain it, and that we are not using other funds. We did approve last night some subsidy from the general fund for Medic One. That's a much harder conversation when we talk about levels of service. If you call 911 and you need an ambulance, I want it to be able to go. And not because we've said, well, we got to cut people, or we can't buy a new fire truck. And the cost of prescriptions for the Medic One utility went up 151% over the last couple of years. And so I want them to have the medications they need. So there may be conversation to be had about things that are funded by the general fund and where we could talk about that. I think it's pretty slim. But I do think the utilities are a separate entity that need to be considered individually.
All right. Marilee, I'll let you have the last word on that, and then we'll go to a break.
Well, no one's ever talked about rolling our utility with PUD and getting it off the city books. No one's ever talked about, we've got the biggest part of the utility bill, or the hardest part to accept, is that service fee where that keeps getting added on to. The pool's in there, all kinds of, the medics in there, everything's in there. That's expensive. It's like, okay, you want the EMTs to have their medicine. What about the people who can't afford their medicine because they're paying too much in utility rates? Seriously, everything's costing more and everything's costing too much.
All right, we need to take a break. Speaking of cost, we have to pay some of our bills. We'll be back with more with our candidates for city council position number 4, Kate Dexter and Marilee Mimi Smith-Dvorak, right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP.
Hey there, Dawn riding with Olympic Hot Tub. You know what's better than soaking every night in a saltwater hot spring spa? Knowing you got it for an incredible price during our great rebate event. Save up to $4,500 on the best hot tub you can own. Saltwater soaking, incredible savings, sleeping better, feeling better. What are you waiting for? Our great rebate event ends October 27th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
At Straight View Credit Union, we believe that fast, flexible loan decisions are key to helping our members achieve their financial goals. That's why we're proud to offer a streamlined loan application process that takes place entirely in-house. All loan decisions are made locally, right here in our building, by our experienced lending team. This means that we can typically approve loans within 1 to 2 days, so you can get the funds you need quickly and efficiently. Plus, as a member-owned cooperative, we're committed to putting your needs first and providing personalized service that helps you achieve your financial goals. So, whether you're looking to purchase a new car, purchase a new home, make home improvements, or consolidate debt, we've got you covered. Visit us online at svcu.com or stop by our branch on Lincoln Street in Port Angeles to apply for your loan today. Straight View Credit Union. Fast, flexible loan decisions to help you reach your financial goals. Insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. It's the third day of the NBA season, and the coach of the Portland Trailblazers, Chauncey Billups, is under arrest. So is Miami Heat player Terry Rozier. There are more of 30 people arrested in a federal gambling sting involving unlawful betting and fixed poker games. This comes as legalized gambling has surged in popularity, but federal prosecutor Joseph Nacella said today,
the sports books themselves are victims in this case. They themselves did not as far as our investigation has concluded, they did not perpetrate anything unlawful.
Billups and Rozier are on leave. President Trump said he is not sending federal troops to San Francisco this weekend after he spoke with the city's mayor. American ranchers say they aren't happy. The president's committed to buy more beef from Argentina. The White House says the president wants to increase supply to lower prices, and the Senate did not advance a bill that would have paid some federal workers during the shutdown. This is ABC News.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. Highs level off around 58 this afternoon under overcast skies with a chance for isolated rain showers, winds out of the northeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance for rain tonight, lows dip down to about 47, cloudy skies expected. Heavy rain likely tomorrow, 56, cloudy skies expected. 51 Saturday with rain likely, 49 Sunday, showers continue. Taking a look at the extended forecast, 49 Monday, 49 Tuesday, and 52 on Wednesday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently 55.
We're back with more of our candidates for position 4 on the Port Angeles City Council. Kate Dexter, Marilee Mimi Smith-Dvorak joining us for the rest of the hour. We're going to go to Kate next on this one, and it's about economic development. How do you see the City Council in maybe specifically as a City Council member in helping to attract, retain businesses here? Maybe policy, I'll let you just kind of address that in any sense as an elected, what you see that your role as.
Sure. Well, I will start by admitting that I am not an expert in economic development. That said, I think we can continue to do things like maintain our permit turnaround times. We can focus on building out and maintaining our infrastructure, particularly utility infrastructure, so we can just keep the utility conversation going. One of the things we've talked about is with Amazon coming, we have an MOU with a number of other organizations, the tribe and the port, to put in sewer on the western side of town, and that helps because it helps other businesses as well. Supporting the A Street Basin wastewater project, and one of the things that we've talked a lot about recently, which I think is a long-term thing, but I think worth talking about because we just had a presentation about it. I thought it was quite interesting, is this discussion about a urban growth area swap with the county where they have acreage out in CQ that we're talking about swapping and adding a large parcel of land on the western to extend the western urban growth area. And what that would allow is a large parcel that could be used. It would be zoned industrial, and it would be a large parcel that could be used for that. And I think that's what we hear about from the organizations that we currently support, like the EDC. Certainly hear from Colleen McAleer that people are interested in coming, but we don't have the industrial space. So if we can get sewer out there, expand the wastewater, and have a parcel of land. It's a long, complicated process, but knowing that that is a possibility, I think it's important for us to support that. I also think we have, I don't want to steal Mimi's answer because I know she's going to talk about entrepreneurship, but we do have a lot of people here who are really have creative ideas. And I think one of the things we did a good job in allowing food trucks. I think that is a way for people with restaurant ideas to kind of test their idea on a smaller scale before investing in a brick and mortar. Not that food trucks are cheap, but I think thinking more along those lines, and how do we allow space for people to try on their ideas, and are there ways that the city could encourage that, maybe in a way that we don't right now. And again, we could probably keep talking, but I'll stop there and turn it over to Mimi.
Mimi, over to you. A bit about economic development. How do you see your role if elected?
Well, a huge question. So we're losing jobs faster than we're making jobs, and this is really not looking good for the future. So I think it's not just we can give some money to the EDC, or we can do this, or we can do that. The city has to be very proactive about getting business, retaining business, encouraging business. I know that the late Mayor Downey would go out to businesses and visit them all the time, because he visited me when I had a deli and asked me, what can the city do for you? I haven't seen that in years, and I think that that's something we have to do. The city council members need to get out there and start talking to business people. I know that I've had many, many conversations with people who are just frustrated because, I understand, because when I had my delicatessen, it was like no one ever told me anything, and they were building the Gateview Center next door, or the Gateway, and they closed my street with no notice. That really hurts, because I needed to be open 31 days a month when there were that many days, and to be closed for 3 or 4 days because the street being closed really, I couldn't make it up. Some towns have more friendly websites that aren't city websites. They're off city websites. There's one called ChooseAlbany.com, if I remember right, which is for Albany, California. And they have a completely separate website that shows you can look up anything in there, like, all the requirements to do business, a checklist for you, what you have to worry about, what the state forms are. It also has a listing of all the real estate property that's for commercial property that's for rent. It's a really friendly site. Plus, they have a $10,000 grant for new businesses coming to the area, which is really nice. It's like, it's a nice way to do things. I think we should do as much as we can in town. I'm really happy that we're going to be hiring for our tourism locally instead of going outside the area. I think we need to do a lot of that. I think there's probably a lot of jobs that we could offload to people locally. I also think that we need to push our local businesses to be on the state websites so that we can shop local for vehicles and everything else. Businesses are a really interesting, you have to grow them. You also have to reach out to businesses and see if we have any of the demographics they can have. And I know years past, I had connections with some of the larger software companies, and, they were interested in coming out here, but we ended up giving our fiber optic to Wave through this weird deal, which stopped them from coming here because they need they need a wider bandwidth to be out here. We just need to find out what we can do to increase it and then start encouraging people. I have lots of ideas. I'm better at writing than I am at talking.
All right. We'll let you talk at the next question, though, because it goes to you, Mimi, and that has to do with homelessness, public safety. A lot of folks have concern about, what they see, how they feel, whether they feel safe in Port Angeles. So how would you approach a kind of the balance between compassion, enforcement, and maybe long-term solutions you see for those that are homeless and are literally, out on the streets and we're encountering daily?
And we're going to have more of those if our rates keep going up. I was homeless in my early 20s. I had to make the choice of losing my house or renting it and then living in my 1968 VW Bug. I've never had a car that small again since. Homeless isn't one homogenous community. There are people you can help. You know, the people who are newly homeless, you are much easier to help than the people who are chronically homeless. Some chronically homeless have severe mental issues, alcohol, drug issues. I think drugs are probably the biggest problem. I think we need to kind of categorize like what we can do for group A, B, C, and D, and take it from a really, from a humane approach. I don't believe anything should be free. I think that we could probably clean up our needles if we started monetizing them. So if you want to do a needle exchange, bring 4, and we'll give you 1. Not here's free ones constantly. I know that, we aren't, to make a community, everyone has to be involved in the community. And I don't think it's a good idea to let some people have things free. It hurts them. It hurts them because it takes away their dignity. If you want, you want something, bring me something. I have a lot of ideas about that just because I've watched the community. I've lived in the Bay Area, and the San Francisco Bay Area has a homeless problem that is unbelievable compared to here. I think our police are doing a great job. I think that they're the most compassionate I've ever seen of any police department, and I'm really pleased with that. As far as safety is, we aren't going to go back to the 1950s again. So.
Okay. Kate, same question about addressing homelessness and public safety, and those go hand in hand in many ways.
Yes. So I'll start by addressing public safety, and I would say Mimi and I agree on the compassion that our police department shows in really anyone that they deal with. And so for that, I am grateful. I think continuing to support programs that we have in place that are helping connect people to services is something that we should do. And so that's Rediscovery in partnership with Olympic Peninsula Community Clinic. That funding for that actually is now going through the county, which is great because it means an expansion of that program. I think another program that is really helpful is our community paramedicine program. That is another opportunity for people to, while its focus is, it's multifaceted, but, keeping people out of the emergency department and things like that, it also is an opportunity to build a relationship with someone and help connect them with services. And certainly Operation Shielding Hope is helping with that when we talk about people overdose from all socioeconomic levels, and for folks who overdose and are unhoused. I think not only do we offer treatment at the time of overdose, we also then are following up and helping connect them with services. And I think, as we've spoken in the past, supporting permanent supportive housing projects is one of the best things we can do. Getting people housed gives them some stability with wraparound services to then be able to make the steps they need. And I think we should continue to support that. So we certainly supported Dawnview Court, which is the old Allview Motel project of Peninsula Behavioral Health. We're supporting the new apartment building that they are building where the Arlene Engel House used to be, over on 2nd. And then I think in terms of public safety in general, doing what we can to support our police department in going after state funding, which will help fund more officers, is not a bad thing. And continuing to support the Downtown Resource Officer, which is funded in large part by the business license fee that we are charging based on the connection between many of the downtown businesses asking for a downtown resource officer without the ability to fund it. So it's a direct way to help maintain that position. And I think we should do that as well. So that's approaching that question from a couple of different angles, but I think I'll leave it at that.
All right. Really a quick answer on this next one, and then we'll take a break and we'll have some closing remarks. But Kate, to you, what is your top priority?
That's a tough one. There's so many.
I'll let you give 3. How about that?
Okay.
What are your top 3?
Sure. Well, and they're in my closing, but one I will say, which is sort of a smaller but big thing, is if I win, I would really like to see by the end of my term the Joint Public Safety Facility being open and operational. I would really like us to continue to work on our municipal code. I think we want a code that if you walk in to City Hall and start working with someone and that person goes on vacation, that the next person you're going to be working with is going to have the same interpretation as the person you started with. And some of our code is vaguely written and leaves room for that. So I think continuing to work on that to make it easy to understand and build predictability in is important. And we certainly have heard a lot about economic development, and I think thinking about that in conjunction with housing, as we think about some of the very real immediate concerns like the hospital and how they're doing. We cannot have a healthy community without a hospital. And so what does that look like, and how can we be supportive, and what kind of advocacy can we be doing at the state and federal level to help secure other organizations within our community that help our community work well?
All right, Mimi, top 3 priorities for you.
Well, my top priority is economics. I'd really like to get, I'd like to sort out the finances and get some people who are in our community to help look at it from a lot of different ways and come up with, let's come up with a million ideas and then figure out what may work and what may not work. I'd like better finances from the city. I'd like to see more often a visit. I'd like to see at least quarterly. I'd like something monthly. I'd like to see like what we aren't seeing now is like it'll say, such and such consultant, but it doesn't say how much we've spent there all year, every month. You don't see any rolling totals anywhere. I don't think that I've ever been able to find out what the unfunded mandates for retirement is for people in our, how much does an employee cost from the time you hire them until the time they drop dead? That's numbers never been there. And
we've lost our mic. I think you're back.
I think I'm
there
back.
There you
go. I didn't do it.
Go ahead.
The finance gods hate me. I think that finances is a real key thing. I realize that the state audits us. Some cities have an auditor who just reports to the city council to keep people on track. I think that the biggest goal would be to learn how to say no, because what staff wants, sometimes they shouldn't have. Someone's got to be the board of directors, and they have to say no to things that are asked for. And I think, learning how to be adults on the city council is really an important and long past due.
All right. When we take a break, we'll come back with a couple minutes of closing remarks from both of our candidates right after this.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
I'm Jerry Steffens, and I'm running to serve as your next OMC Hospital Commissioner, Position 1. I have served my community as a volunteer physician, medical director, and board member of the Olympic Peninsula Community Clinic, our local free clinic. I served on the Clallam County Board of Health and as a treasurer for St. Andrew's Episcopal Church. You deserve an engaged, responsive, and effective leader who will adequately respond to the challenges our hospital is facing and restore trust in the hospital. I would be honored to represent you as our next OMC Hospital Commissioner. Paid for by elect Jerry Steffens.
Hello, this is Katie McCormick with Squim Valley and Harper Ridgeview Funeral Chapels. I'd like to take a moment to tell you about a new, exciting, and environmentally friendly development in the funeral industry. It's called Natural Organic Reduction, or terramation. Perhaps you've heard of it. Terramation is a process in which the body, after death, is returned to the earth in a carbon-neutral, eco-friendly manner. The process takes place in a controlled environment, and all that remains is a natural, odorless, compost-like material. If you would like more information about terramation and advanced planning, call us today at Harper Ridgeview in Port Angeles or Squim Valley Chapel in Squim, and one of our knowledgeable and caring funeral professionals will assist you in answering your questions. Harper Ridgeview and Squim Valley Funeral Chapels, because your loved ones deserve the best.
Hi, this is Mike from American Rare Coin and Gold in Squim. Do you have a house project needs doing but lacking the funds? Now is a great time to sell gold, silver, or rare coins. Prices are at an all-time high. We love to buy coin collections, gold and silver jewelry and bullion. We even help with entire estates. You could be sitting on a literal gold mine. Come see me, Mike, at American Rare Coin and Gold in Squim. Call 360-968-4943.
Come out to Olympic Game Farm, it's the home of the waving bears. Come out to Olympic Game Farm for some tender love and care. Now it's not impolite to stick out your tongue, considering the critters you'll be among. Come out to Olympic Game Farm, it's the home of the waving bears. The llama and the yak know you wanna come back, and the tiger always gets a few stares. Come out to Olympic Game Farm, it's the home of the waving bears.
All right, we're back with just enough time for a couple of minutes of closing remarks from both of our candidates today. So, Mimi, let's go to you first. And I always phrase this, why should we vote for you?
Well, for sure, I'm only going to be a 4-year term if I'm elected, because I want to get as much done as possible. And I've got other things to do with my life because, I'm getting up there. I really want to see how much we can change. And how much better we can make the community. And I'd like to create a community. That's it. And I have got new interesting ideas. It's not that I'm any better than Kate, because Kate's wonderful, and I actually do appreciate her. And I only ran against her just to make her up her game. So vote for me if you want something to get shook up, because I'm just a troublemaker.
All right, that's Mimi, Marilee Mimi Smith Dvorak. All those names are on the ballot because, as you mentioned, you're using them all.
No, you have to.
You're right. And Kate Dexter, a couple of minutes about why we should vote for you.
Sure, thank you. Admittedly, I have said democracy works better when people don't run unopposed. So I appreciate that I had an opponent. I think. Hang on.
All right.
There we go. I can hear it back. I appreciate having an opponent. It's been fun, and I think we're both looking forward to Election Day. So I will also remind folks that this would be my last term. We have a 3-term limit on the Port Angeles City Council, 3 4-year terms. So I am running for my 3rd and final term. So you also only get 4 more years of me. Over the last almost 8 years, I have been dedicated to listening to constituents and providing calm, level-headed leadership during difficult community issues. The next few years will likely be challenging, and we have so much to do, as evidenced by our conversation today. I'm hopeful that by the end of the next 4-year term, we will have a fully operational joint public safety facility. I continue to be a proponent of increasing childcare, developing meaningful solutions to the housing crisis, supporting first responders, partnering with local government agencies. And while we've made a lot of significant progress, we do still have an opioid crisis, and I think it's worth mentioning. And I want to continue to work to support local agencies, particularly our fire department, responding to that crisis. And I will just take, because my rest of my words are less than 2 minutes. I do think it's a pretty significant thing, and perhaps you've already touched on it on Todd Ortloff, that when I ran for council the first time in 2017, and up until very recently, we have been in the top 3 or 4. So I don't know that we've ever been first, but as adjusted as public health numbers are, for overdose and overdose deaths. And because of the work that our community has done, in part because of the work that City Council has supported, we're now somewhere between 12th and 15th on that list. And that's a pretty significant movement, and something I think is worth sharing. Both as mayor and in my personal life, I believe that working collaboratively strengthens our community. I've strengthened partnerships with local tribal governments, worked with partners at the county, the PUD. We do have a new committee starting with the PUD to find whether there are great ways for us to work together to benefit our community, and certainly the Port of Port Angeles, and serve as a member of nonprofit boards. I believe that the City of Port Angeles deserves a council that actively supports collaborative relationships and can provide thoughtful and steady leadership, especially as we continue to navigate the almost daily challenges at the federal level. We need to work together to ensure that no one is left behind and that we continue working together toward a resilient Port Angeles. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Kate. Thanks, Mimi.
Thank you.
Good luck the rest of the way. Ballots are out, and we do appreciate you spending an hour with our listeners, too, this afternoon. We're going to take a break, and the news is coming up next.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
What's better than soaking every night in a saltwater hot spring spa? Knowing you got it for an incredible price during Olympic Hot Tub's great rebate event. Save up to $4,500 on the best hot tub you can own. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Hi, this is John Hull. I'm president of Tri-State Roofing, your local and family-owned company covering the entire Olympic Peninsula area. The difference with Tri-State Roofing is we separate ourselves with the quality of products we offer, customer service, including an A+ rating with the BBB, solid safety plans, and the best labor guarantees around. Call 360-208-2222.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
Since 1945, News Radio KONP has been your source for news and community. We are News Radio KONP Port Angeles Squim.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and that means there's no better time than now to educate yourself on preventing, finding, and treating breast cancer. Visit Olympic Medical Center's online health library to answer questions like, what should I know about mammograms? Does my family history put me at risk for breast cancer? And what questions should I ask my doctor? Find answers to these questions and more at olympicmedical.org/breastcancer.
Bobcat is offering a rare manufacturer discount, and it's big. Right now, get up to $20,000 off a Bobcat L85 wheel loader, E30